Good morning, children. Welcome back to the another online class of social science. So, children, this is the part 2 video of the first chapter of civics, that is the Indian Constitution. And children, in part 1 video, you have learned about the meaning of constitution, why we need constitution, and about the democratic countries. And in this part 2 video, you will learn about the features of Indian Constitution. And children, in part 1 video or in last class, I have given you an assignment also. I hope you all have done that assignment. That question answer you have to do in the copy in which you have done the previous assignment given by Roli ma'am and Pooja ma'am. And once the school will reopen, you will be getting marks on all these assignment. So let's begin the today's topic, that is the Indian Constitution. As you all know that British government ruled our country for about 200 years, and under the British government the Indians were forced to follow the rules of British government, and the then politician decided that free India would be a democratic country. Now you must know the meaning of democratic. Democratic means where people hold political powers and can rule either directly or through elected representative, or where the power rested with the hand of common people. Then the main question or the main task was set up the rules and function of the government and which uphold the ideology of Indian society. So children, around 300 people became the member of Constituent Assembly, those who met regularly, and they were responsible for drafting the Indian Constitution. So these are some of the main member of that assembly. These are some of the famous member of that Constituent Assembly who were responsible for drafting the Indian Constitution. And Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar was the chairman of that assembly, and he was also known as the father of the Indian Constitution. And children, do you know that it took 2 years and 11 months to frame the constitution of our country, and it came into force on 26 January 1950. Yes, the day which we celebrate as a Republic Day. But children, it was not the easy task for the members of Constituent Assembly, those who framed the Constitution of India, because India was a vast country and it was made up of several different communities. The community who spoke different languages, followed different religions, and had distinct culture. And also the partition of India into two states like India and Pakistan was a big challenge before the makers of Indian Constitution. And children, the social economic condition of these people were also different. The society of our country was divided into different class, and the economic condition of the people of these class were not the same. So before making the constitution of our country, they had to keep each and every detail in their mind, so that this constitution will uphold the ideology of our country, and it transform independent India into a strong democratic society, and it preserved the national unity of our country. Keeping all these points in their mind, they have framed the constitution of our country, which uphold the ideology of our society and preserve the national unity. Now children, we will see the features of Indian constitution, and I think you remember that the constitution of our country is in a written form. Let's start now. So the first feature of the constitution of our country is federalism. And children, the meaning of federalism is the existence of more than one level of government in the country. So as you have read in the previous classes, that the power in our country is divided between state and center. And children, there is a three-tier government in our country. Like there are three levels of the government. First, the union government. Second, the state government, and third is the local state government. And under local government comes the panchayat and nagar palika. And children, the constitution of our country contains lists that detail the issues that each tier of government can make laws on, as well as it also specifies where each tier of government can get the money for their work. So about their function, about their money, and about the issues on which they can work, or on which they can make the laws, each and everything are contained in our constitution. So the second feature of the constitution of our country is parliamentary form of government. India has parliamentary form of government, and this feature has been taken from British constitution. In parliamentary form of government, children, citizens of the country elect their representatives, and these representatives make policies and work and function on behalf of the citizen of the country. And in parliamentary form of government, the constitution guarantees universal adult suffrage. It means it gives the right to vote to all the adult citizens, and in our country, any person above the age of 18, regardless of their social status, gender, income, elect the representatives. They not only can elect their representatives, but they can also contest the election irrespective of their caste, religion, gender, and income. And children, in parliamentary form of the government, the head of the government is Prime Minister, which comes under the category of executives. Not only Prime Minister, but the President, Vice President, and Council of Ministers, Cabinet Minister, they all come under the executives, and these are the elected representatives, those who work on behalf of the citizen of the country. Then second is legislature, the parliament, and both the houses of the parliament like Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the state legislatures like Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad come under the legislature, where these executives framed the laws and take the decision for the development of the country, for the welfare of the society on behalf of the citizen of the country. And in the in parliamentary form of government, the final power is in the hand of the common people, because these executives are elected by the citizen of a country. Now we'll move forward to the next feature of the constitution of a country. The next feature of the constitution of our country is separation of powers. And according to the constitution, there are three organs of the government, and these are legislature, executive, and judiciary. Under the legislature, the parliament come, the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha are the part of the legislature, where all the laws of the country are framed. And second organ is executives, the Prime Minister, President, Vice President, and all the Council of Ministers come under the executive, those who are the elected representatives, and they work on behalf of the people. And third is the judiciary. All the system of the court come under the judiciary. Supreme Court is the highest court of our country. And children, these three organs exercise different powers, and all three organs of the government work independently, but on the same time each organ act as a check on the other organ, and in this way they ensure the balance of powers between all three organs. Now let's move forward to the next feature of the constitution of our country, and that is fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are essential for all-round development of individuals, and these rights apply universally to all the citizens of the country, irrespective of race, birthplace, religion, caste, and gender. And children, there are 6 rights which are given to the citizen of our country by the constitution, and these are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Now we'll learn about all these rights. So first we'll start with right to equality. Right to equality ensures equal rights for all citizens, and all citizens are equal before law, whether they belong to any religion, whether they speak any language, and whether they have any social and economic status. Second right is right to freedom, which provide the citizens freedom of speech, expression, right to life, personal liberty, etc. Third is right against exploitation. Right against exploitation prohibits human trafficking, forced labor, and child labor. Fourth is right to freedom of religion, which guarantees all citizens the right to profess, practice, and publicize the religion of their choice. No institution, no person can force us to follow a particular religion. Then right to constitutional then next is cultural and educational right. It means it seek to preserve and provide special protection to the language, culture, and religion of minorities, and it also gives them right to establish educational institution. In the last one is right to constitutional remedies, and on the violation of any fundamental right which we have discussed so far, the citizen can approach the Supreme Court to seek their claim. So these are the rights which are given to the citizen of our country by the constitution. Now let's move forward to the next feature. The next feature of the constitution of our country is secularism. Secularism means that our country does not officially promote any religion, and the follower of all the religion, whether they are Christian, Hindus, Muslim, Jews, Sikhs, they all are equally treated before law, and they all have the equal rights. And so India is a secular state, and about secularism you will learn more in coming chapters. So children, now we have reached to the end of the chapter, but before moving forward, so let's have a quick recap. In the beginning of the chapter, children, we have learned the meaning of the constitution, that the constitution provides a set of written rules that is authorized and approved by the people. And we have learned that India is a democratic country which have a form of government where people hold political powers, and they rule either directly or through elected representatives. Then we have learned the feature of the Indian Constitution, and we have learned that the Constituent Assembly consisted of 300 members, completed or drafted the Constitution of our country in 2 years and 11 months. And the Constitution of India was adopted on 26th November 1949, and it came into force on 26th January 1950, the day which we celebrate as our Republic Day. Then we have learned about the main features of the Indian Constitution, that India has a parliamentary form of government, and there is a separation of the powers among 3 organs of the government, that is executives, legislatures and judiciary. And the constitution of our country has given 6 fundamental rights to the citizen of the country, and India has an independent judiciary, and it is a secular state, a state which does not promote any state religion. So that's all for today. I hope you have understood the chapter, and children, with this video you will get the question answer also, and these question answer you have to do in the copy where you have done the previous assignment work. So that's all for today. Until then, take care of yourself, stay home, stay safe. Thank you, class.